Obama, since today happens to be tax day, I should just point out that 1/3 of the Recovery Act went to tax cuts, cuts that strengthened the cornerstone of the American dream. I've been a little amused over the last couple days where people have been having these rallies about taxes. Taxes. You would think they would be saying thank you. That's what you'd think. Commence cheers and applause. Rush Limbaugh. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a classic illustration of authoritarian mocking control. He hasn't cut anybody's taxes. The Recovery Act stimulus bill. It's more like loaves and fishes. There are no tax cuts in that. There were some tax credits. It's all bogus, but he wants to be thanked. Okay, I will oblige you. Mr. President, I want to thank you for seizing General Motors and Chrysler. I want to thank you for appointing a pervert as our safe school czar. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for the generational theft that you have committed with all of this borrowing and spending. You have spent the wealth of 2 to 3, maybe 4 generations in the future before they're even born. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for insulting and endangering Israel. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for driving up the unemployment rate to near double digits for years to come. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for telling everybody that it's going to be double digits as the new norm. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for exploding the annual deficit to the level where it can never be repaid. I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, for targeting and destroying private health insurance companies. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for pushing Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to stand trial in New York City and receive full constitutional rights at a cost of $200 million per year. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for arrogance, because arrogance is part and parcel of an authoritarian leader of a regime. I would like to also thank you, Mr. President, for your divisiveness. I would like to thank you for ignoring the public union pension time bombs waiting to explode out there. I would like to thank you, Mr. President, for mocking and disrespecting the American people. And I'd like to thank you for your never-ending support of the new Black Panthers and for Acorn. I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, for embracing our enemies and snubbing our allies. But most of all, Mr. President, thank you for arousing the sleeping silent majority, because we have been asleep too long. November is coming, Mr. President. That is when we will really thank you. Normally I'm not very political, but I gotta say, I completely agree with Rush Limbaugh. This is ridiculous. Let's see. With these tax cuts and healthcare, yeah, Obama may have cut some taxes, but our national debt is currently over $10 billion, and it is going up. Actually, I believe it is over 10 trillion at this point, if I'm not mistaken. It is projected to increase to $12.1 trillion with all of this health care. That's right. The national debt will be about $12.1 trillion because of this $1.9 trillion healthcare bill that 55% of the American people did not even want. In fact, we said no, we do not want this by our peaceful protests and refusal to vote for it. What does Congress do? They go and snub us anyway by voting for this health care bill. Wait, should I call this hell care or health scare? Why? Because, and again, I'm going to post more information in the description, because from something I saw on Fox News tonight, thank God the IRS will not, and I repeat, will not force us to buy health insurance if we do not have it, or they will not enforce it. However, the government has given us the option of, if you don't have health insurance, you can buy it from our government. What does that mean? More taxes and therefore government control, considering that they have also seized 60% of GM and Chrysler. More taxes. Let's see. The Tea Party protested peacefully. What does President Obama do? Rather than disagreeing civilly and disagreeing kindly with the American people expressing their freedom, he mocks and derides us. Oh yes, need we forget that he and Joe Biden have consistently snubbed Israel, whether it be quietly or aloud. I cannot remember where I read this, but I saw something about Joe Biden on Facebook snubbing Israel. You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Excuse my language. Israel has always been our ally. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, the illegal immigration issue. I do not see President Obama and Vice President Biden doing anything. As far as I'm concerned, the people who are coming in illegally need to get in the back of the line, regardless of nation, regardless of circumstance that brings them here, and do the work to come here legally. Frankly, I only pity the children. Ultimately, I will probably pity the children who are born here and have parents who came here illegally the most. As for appointing a pervert as our safe school czar, it's kind of like, who was the guy? The green czar? Oh wait, even that term sickens me. Czar? Czar? Does that not reek of the monarchy of Russia? America, Mr. President, was not founded to be a monarchy. It was founded precisely to get away from a monarchy, away from government control, because we were sick of King James telling us how to live our lives regarding our religions. He was Catholic, we were Protestant. We said, okay, you cannot force us to be Catholic or Protestant or whatever. King James began to censor us. You may not be censoring us, Mr. President. You may not be censoring us, Vice President Biden, but by mocking and deriding our freedom of expression and saying that we should thank you for censoring us, thank you for laughing at the rights to express what we wish, thank you for increasing government control when we have said no, thank you for snubbing our allies. Mr. President, I suppose all I can do at this point is pray for you, pray for Vice President Biden, pray for the administration, and frankly, I agree with Rush Limbaugh. The day that the silent majority awakens is the day that you, Vice President Biden, and the Congress will see that you have done wrong in not listening to us. Mr. President, please, please, Vice President, I beg of you, Congress, I beg of you, please listen to your constituents. We need you to get us out of this mess that you, in part, have created. And we're looking to you now to help us. Please do your part.